We good, we good, we good. We good. What's up, Frontline? How you doing? In the building, Frontline. How you doing? Let me know that you could hear me loud and clear. And most importantly, do you hear my effects? What's up, fight fans? And we are back at it with another edition here at Round One Sports TV. I'm always your host, Edwin, where the wall fights start.
Round one.
And you know we are back with
Another one.
another one. Let me know that if you could hear those effects right there. Excuse me. Let me unpause this. What happened? Okay. All right. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. What's up, guys? Loud and clear? Yeah, that's what's up. So I wanted to hop on this morning and let's get round one going. It's been a week since my fight. I've been in my head all about the fight and everything. Uh, I got back home. I even changed things around. How you guys like the new look of the setup? I lowered the sign. Got the thing around it now. Bring it down. I moved the belts around, and the Ali stuff is over here on this side now. Now, yeah, in a way, it's next to Ali. You know what I'm saying? Greats got to hang around with greats. All three of them, great fighters, bro. I take either one of them. Either one of them. You're not gonna be a loser. You're not gonna lose. You know what I'm saying? How can you lose? Look at these guys. Jesus, what a row of boxing right there, huh? Oh, and you better recognize, and you gotta recognize the WBC champion. You see the Puerto Rican gloves on it with the Puerto Rican flag attached to the Mexican belt. Why? Ha Isn't Subriel Matias the 140 WBC world champion? Puerto Rico. Bing, bing. WBC. Yeah, we got one of those belts. I was going to put it on the WBO, right? And switch it, but Mayweather's with the WBC, and that's the only one I can get with the buckle to go like that. It's the only one with a buckle and shit. But we do own a WBO, the Puerto Rican, as Puerto Rican fighters, because Oscar Collazo has one, if I'm not mistaken. He has a WBO, right? Anybody else has a for Puerto I wanted to check that out because you know that belt is from Puerto Rico, man. So yeah, I always wondered that throughout the careers, but uh Puerto Rican fighters have been like like you would say, like, I don't know, like the American fighters, and I would say the WBA, right? And the Mexicans with the WBC, kind of like that, right? Uh, we've had Puerto Rican fighters. We've had a real good relationship with the IBF this way, with the IBF for some reason, because they cater to all sides of the fight. The streets. Like, if you're coming up in their division, they will make sure you get your shot. If you're moving up the ranking and so forth. So every belt. But yeah, moved everything around. So let's talk about these fights, guys. All right. Now that I'm getting back into the swing of things, I'm sitting down. I'm watching more fights again, once again, and what I asked myself, when I was watching, I didn't even know this Chris Eubank fight was going on. Tell you the truth, right? I had to go back and watch it. So, you know, there was a couple great fights on the card. That what's his name there? Adam and Scooby fight. Bro, it goes to show you that if you have a lot of muscles, you know, a lot of acid is gonna fill in those muscles. And but that Scooby Doo, right? He looked good. He looked, for a muscular guy, he was fast. He was fast. He looked fast, strong, powerful. Um, he was doing his thing, right? But Adams was a better boxer. Uh Adams showed that skills do pay the bills. And, you know, uh just because you're big, strong, powerful, he shows there's ways to deal with that. When we talk about that in other matches, but the guy was more powerful. He had a bulldozing style, kind of like a Esau Pitbull Cruz, right? How do you deal with that? Adam showed. Yo, he kept stepping back, switching up levels, boom, hitting that body, coming around his guard, and then giving him the 1-2 straight down, man. And he was just, and that check hook, he was coming around, breaking the guard. You know, he was patient. He knew that he would break him down. He just had to be, and Adams, he look, you know, a lot of people are going to say things about young new fighters or fighters that haven't really fought anyone, or they feel they haven't been tested, and then when they pass the test, it's like they don't want to like really give them credit. No, you got to give him credit for what he did, right? And now, where does he go from here? We're gonna see, right? And then on the card, of course, you got the Connor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr. Too, and this was a fight that it brings me back to what I say on my channel. If you take the fight, you are responsible for the outcome of the fight. You are responsible, win, lose, or draw, that after the fight, no excuses. He lost, right? He lost, right? Chris Eubank Jr., right? And he was up there. He said, I'm not going to take away from what Conor Benn did, so forth and so forth. Okay. But at the same time, alluding, did I look like how I looked in the first fight? It should tell you something's wrong coming into this fight. No. No. No, you took the fight for the money. You're responsible for the fight and for the outcome. Going into fights, we're all hurt. If it wasn't an injury that you had to back out of it, then it was an injury that you were willing to go in the fight. You're willing to take the paycheck, right? So take the 100% L. He whooped your ass. That's it. That's it. We're not going to sugarcoat it. We're not going to start making excuses. None of that shit. You got he outfought you. Bro, I don't know what the real scorecards were because I watch it with no volume. But I don't know if he won a round. And I don't know if I'm being harsh on him or if you guys feel like I'm being harsh on these guys, the UK guys. No, but I don't think he did. He got his ass whooped. Yeah. And he looked a little frail. Yeah, he did. You could see it in his. He was like this. Yup, I saw it. But you took the paycheck. You took the money the first time like you took it the second time. You won the first time. So when you win, it's all good. When you lose, oh no, he didn't look like he was in a fraction of himself. The weight cut, but when you win, oh, you dared to be great. You're a legend. You cut the weight. You still won. No, you got your ass whooped. That's it. That's it. And it was a one-sided fight, if you ask me. The one-sided fight. Conor Benn got his get back. He dropped him too, bro. He was doing a stanky leg. He like this at the 12th round. Yeah. And you can tell he showed him no love, no mercy. You had two options. Either jump on him and let everything go or just jump on him and be calculated. He jumped on him and he was calculated. He was trying to rip his head off. He was like, he was going forward, right? So, like, for me, that fight really didn't, it didn't really, make me want to watch the fight again, right? For me, it didn't spark my curiosity that much that I was like, I gotta wait. I can't wait for the Conor Benn. It wasn't like that for me. respectable fight. Oh yeah, I was gonna watch it. But I wasn't like really into it. Then right, they fight, they concludes. I'm watching the post fight, and I want to see what they're saying. Are they gonna try to do this a third time? Type shit. So it looks like both fighters are gonna go on their way. I'm not sure what this does for Conor Benn. He's right though. He's like, yo, how much money do you need? Like, I got enough money right now. Like, okay, but what I don't have is a world title. And I thought that was an iconic moment right there because I said to myself, and they say belts don't matter, that it's money. Well, ask the guy that has all the money but didn't get no belts if that matters. If he wants to retire now that he has the bag, he's got the bag. He's telling you, I have the bag. In the third fight, the money is not what I need. And when that moment happened right there, clip that shit. Let the world hear that. Belts matter. He has all the money. And what did he say? I need to go down to 147. He was specific in the division, where he wants to do it, and where he has his eyes set on. Can he go down and make the weight? And can his body adjust? And that if he goes down, will that hurt his body? And then all of a sudden, his punch resistance isn't there. It's shot like Roy Jones Jr. He kept going up, down, like you do that shit. And all of a sudden, boop, down goes Roy. Oh my God. We all know that in boxing. Everybody has said that to Conor Benn. He's heard it. He knows. Those were his worries. But what is his goal? What is his goal? To become a world champion. But they want you to think belts don't matter. Really, belts don't matter? He's got the bag. What does he want? A belt. Oh, yeah. And then I watched the Espinoza fight, right? I'm watching the Espinoza fight kick off. Let me talk to you guys too. What's up, Frontline? Oh yeah, yeah. Thank you, Frontline. Zayas at 154 has a WBO world title. What the hell am I thinking about? Of course he does. Thank you, man. Yeah. So we got and so we got two. Nice. It would be nice to get two WBCs too. Yeah. Oh, yeah, man. Nah, man. We need to make that WBO strong. Remember what I tell you. Remember what I tell you guys. That the champions, what makes these belts strong are the men and women that wear them. The kind of champion that they are. Speaking of Espinoza representing the WBO like a real one, you know what I'm saying? And he Mexican. He Mexico, you know what I'm saying? He rocking that WBO title, you know? And we're Puerto Rican and we got the WBC too. You know what I'm saying? Shit happens like that. But that Espinoza, he's representing. Did you see his belt? On my live, I started to talk about it. I was like, look at his belt. You could see the plaits, they're filled in. You can see more gold and diamonds around the belt. He sent the belt to get tricked out. He's following tradition. With every win and every title defense on that WBO, it shows your accomplishments on the belt. It speaks. His line, the white line, is still white. So he doesn't have 5 title defenses on it. After you get 5, the white line turns gold. And it's a super WBO. That motherfucker looks beautiful. I've only seen like The only the only fighter, like recently was Terrence Crawford. His WBO title is, oh, that motherfucker is tough, bro. I be looking at it, I be like, damn, you're a good champion. Ooh, that's a strong champion right there. You know what I mean? When you see them belts, you be like, mm. But when they're plain and they don't got no, the plats are not filled in, you know that they're a new champion. They got to start writing their legacy. They got to start defending that belt and shit and tricking the belt out and stuff. But when you see a champion, all that, it's like walking into a room and seeing the general and he has all his like medals. It's basically the same shit. That shit speaks by itself. Listen, hell yeah, hell yeah. Oh, Zayas is trash. Why is that, brother? Why is that? I wish you could come up here and talk to us about it. Come on, man. Bull Rider Game Farm. I would like you to come up here. Watch his last fight. Watch his last fight. I did watch his last fight. It was a fucking masterclass performance. Xander's last fight. His last fight was against Chino Perez, right? You mean the Chino Perez that knocked off Conwell? That beat the number one prospect at the 154-pound that we all thought was going to get the title shot first was going to be Conwell. Here comes Chino, pulls one of the biggest upsets, beats him. Xander goes into the fight with him, and Xander's coach tells Xander, okay, Xander, you're 22 years old. 22 years old. Your first world title fight. I think you can knock this guy out. I don't want you to. I want you to give him a boxing clinic. I want you to be safe, defensively responsible, and I want you to show that your level's above Chino's boxing. Because I know that if it was a boxing match, you would beat him. That's exactly what he did. He went out there, he had Chino all kinds of frustrated. Did Chino look like the same fighter that fought Conwell? No. Why couldn't he look like that? Because Xander shut that down. Xander worked that jab like nobody's business, and he was setting up combinations. In your first world title fight, do you want to take? You think that your coach is going to send you in there and take chances? No, you got this guy hurt. I want you to finish him. No. Same thing Devin Haney did with Regis Progress. I felt like Devin Haney could have stopped Regis. He dropped him a few times. What did Devin Haney do? Says, I know I got you hurt. I'm not going to give you an opportunity of me going in there, because when you're that close and you go in, you take a chance of taking a shot. Naoya Inoue, he got dropped twice. Only because he was going in there when he shouldn't have, because big punchers fall in love with the knockout. So Devin stood defensively responsible, and Xander did too. Let's see what he does and if he's trash, why is he the only 154-pound fighter trying to unify? If Xander's trash. Meanwhile, you got the whole 154, they're all pointing fingers at each other, but none of them are fighting. None of them. $10 million. Virgil Ortiz said to Jaron Boots Ennis, hogwash. Bro, you didn't just price yourself out. You fucking triple price yourself out, Ortiz. Ortiz, you do understand, he said $10 million. Does he understand that the highest amount of money Ortiz has ever made, plus Jaron Boots Ennis, right? Plus the co-main event, plus the entire card they would put together, isn't worth $10 million. Tell me where Jaron Boots Ennis and Ortiz is worth $10 million. Where the only two places Jaron sold out in is in Philly at a 12,000 maybe max capacity gate, 12,000 people. Are you okay? Jerron Boots Ennis has never been paid upwards to $1 million for none of his fights. When he did the unification, what was that? And Ortiz, when has he made over $5 million a fight? 3, 2. Where? What gate? You would lose money if you paid them $10 million. Where are you going to put the fight at? Who the hell are you going to get out to come out to see it? And who's on the co-main event that if you're paying them $10 million, what are you paying your co-main event? Talk about pricing yourself out. That's how you know they don't want to fight. That's how you know that's a good way of a boxer and a promoter telling you you're not going to get that fight right now. Right now. So I already know that fight is dead. That'll never happen. So Jerron Boots Ennis don't got a belt, and neither does Virgil, that claim to be the 2 top best fighters in the 154 pounds, but they got no belts. Talk about talk is cheap. Talk about talk. Anybody can talk. But why is Xander going after his second belt? He's trash. And then Bakram, that's supposed to be this dangerous dude that is in the 154 that knocked out Tim Tszyu, he's supposed to be better than Xander. But how's that possible? If they got 2 common opponents. Xander and Bakram fought 2 guys that are the same on their record. How did they fare against the 2 guys? Bakram went the distance with both the guys, and Xander knocked out both of them in the 5th round. Yo, everybody hear that? You know why? Because one YouTube channel will report, Xander's trash. Look where you're getting your source from. Then you just come on and repeat it. Yeah, I guess Xander is trash. Really? He's the better boxer out of them all. I wouldn't say he's the best puncher. That doesn't mean that he'll win. Styles make fights. Sebastian Fundora is a problem. He's a fucking problem. So, but trash? Nah. Yo, that Xander kid, he's a problem. He's such a problem. He's only 22. Why wait until he gets into like 23, 24, 25, 26, 27? If he's doing this at 22 years old, he's a kid among men. I'm sitting back and I'm looking at it. I'm going, wait a minute. Wait a motherfucking minute here. This is a kid doing this. He's sometimes you could have success early in your career and lose early in midway, and then not be able to replicate what you once were. That's exactly the situation Devin Haney finds himself in now. Devin Haney, at a very young age, had achieved a lot in boxing. By the age of 23, he was undisputed world champion of the world. He had all 4 belts. That's the top. You can't get no higher than that. And the ring. He had the ring too. So Devin was he accomplished so much very young. Now coming into this fight with Brian Norman Jr., for the first time in I think a long time, Devin Haney's coming in to fight the older fighter at 27 years old. And Brian Norman Jr. is only 24 years old. You see? Now, can Devin Haney have kind of like a Kobe Bryant-ish career, where Kobe wore the number 8 and the number 24? The number 24 version of Kobe, that was the Black Mamba, right? No, I'm sorry. The number 8 Kobe was the Black Mamba. That version of Kobe Bryant was the most dangerous. He dunk in your face. When Kobe wore the number 8, he was young. He was ferocious, but he wasn't as smart as number 24. When he wore the number 24, he was a winner. Yeah, I mean, both. He was a winner in both, yes. but he had Shaq at when he had 8. So that one wasn't. He had matured as a basketball player and was a real problem at 24 when he wore the number 24, Kobe Bryant. So those are young athletes that start their respectable careers in the sport that they play in young. And that's what I mean. Can the Devin Haney's of the world replicate two halves? This is what you did from this age and this age, and they kind of be like, look, in his career, he has 2 Hall of Fame careers. You can make 2 Hall of Fame careers, 3 Hall of Fame careers of what that guy did. Shit like that. Those kind of guys. So Xander has the ability to do just that. If he can keep getting he's going for another belt. He'll still be 22 years old when he fights for that belt. If Xander can keep this momentum going in 23, 24, 25, that'll be the young part of his career. And then he'll have a second, then he'll enter his prime. And those guys that they take opportunities early, they could, absolutely. Let me see what you guys are talking about here. He's the weakest at 154. Oh my God. Ortiz will destroy him right now. It's crazy to think that. Fucking crazy, man. Cardcast boxing. Look, I'm not sure about that. If the Ortiz would destroy him like that, yes, I do fear Ortiz. Yes, for Xander. Uh, Ortiz is punching. Ortiz is punching. Xander is a bit. He's a strong kid, or Xander, and he's big for the division. Ortiz is not. I don't think is as tall or big as Xander. Right? Let's check this out. Hold on. Let's get some stats here on the fighters. Okay, let me move my coffee. Let's put this together. Let's put this together. I should just put this on the screen, right? Well, shouldn't I share this with you guys? Because here at Round One Sports Talk, we don't like to talk hypotheticals. We don't like that shit. What we like to do is we like to share what we're saying and prove it, right? Remember where we're from. Where are we from, chat? We from the show me state. You're gonna have to show me, right? That's where we're from. So, what was I talking about? We were talking about Xander Zayas and Ortiz. So we got Ortiz here. He's the interim WBC world title right here. He is 24. He has 24 fights with 22 big ways of knockout. He has a 91% knockout ratio. He is 27 years old. He is 5'10". Wow, he's taller than I thought. Thought he was like 5'8", 5'9". But I thought more on the 5'8", is 5'9". He's 5'10". He is tall. He is up there with Xander. I can tell you that already, right now. Yeah, I think that. Where are we here? Okay, Xander is 5'10". That's what he is. Xander Zayas, 22 fights, 13 knockouts. He has a 59% knockout ratio. He is 5'10", and he is 23 years old. He's just turned 23. Yes, born in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Yes, this is true. Okay, hey, while we're here, why don't we break down some shit? Why don't we look some shit up? Okay, here we go. Here's Xander right here, right? Okay, this is for you guys that say that he's trash and that Xander, these guys are better than him. Okay, wait a minute. Where's my boy at? Have it? Okay, right here. Boom. Bakra. Okay. He's 23 and he has 23 fights, 17 knockouts, right? He has a 73% knockout ratio. He's 5'11 and a half with a 74-inch arm reach, right? Okay. Now, if you notice, we're going to go down here and you look at his record, right? We're gonna notice. I'm gonna go back here. We're gonna go back to Xander's, right? What the hell? It didn't just click into my boy Xander's picture. Why do you do that? Okay, boom. All right, where are the two guys that they have in common? I believe it's Flores right here. Bakram fought him. That's one of them. That's one of them. And Robert, I think it was Robert. Oh no. Was it? Okay, hold on. Let me. I think it was Flores and now let's go look at Bakram's record. Hold on, we'll find the two men. We'll go find them right now. Why do they keep doing that? Oh, it doesn't let me. Okay, we'll just go here. Boom. All right, bang, 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 bang. Let's go down. Let's go down. Here he is, right here. It's right here. Okay. So Bakram went with George here. He went the distance 12-12 and he won a unanimous decision. Do you see it right here? Follow me, guys. See it? Look. Right? He went the distance with him. That's one. And Robert right here, Junior. Later on, he went down and went down to an 8-round fight. In an 8-round fight, right? Robert Valenzuela went 8 rounds with Bakram. The guy you guys are claiming that's just gonna wipe down Xander, and that Xander's the weakest, right? Okay, let's see how Xander did against them. The same two guys, the same two opponents, right? Because they're in the 154. And remember that Xander basically had his career at this weight. You know, he started making his name. It's not like he's moving up. You know what I mean? Let's check it out right here. Look at. Did we pass any of them? Oh, right here. He fought them both back to back. There's the first one. There's the second one that they got the common opponent. What did he do against Robert? Xander stopped him in the 5th round, knocked him out. The next guy, what did Xander do against him? Stopped him, knocked him out in the 5th round. And they went 10, not 8 rounds with him. Right? And what happened in that situation, I guess the guy only got approved for 8. So he took the fight. Right? In Bakram. So how the hell is Bakram fighting the same people that Xander is fighting, going the distance? Xander's putting them type of dudes away. Yeah, but Xander's worse, right? Tell me again, like a 5-year-old kid, how is Xander trash? How is these guys better than him? I don't know. Maybe people I think are like a prisoner in the moment. Oh shit, Bakram knocked out Tim Tszyu. Did you see how you guys never seen a knockout before? What was that supposed to be? I saw Sebastian Fedora make him quit. He broke him. He didn't knock him out. He made him say uncle. Are you serious? People got the game fucked up sometimes. They like, yo, I'd rather get knocked out than quit. Bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'd rather get knocked out than quit. Yes. People got it fucked up where they're saying like, quitting is not bad. You know what I'm saying? Getting knocked out is worse than quitting. And I'm like, how is that so? If you get knocked out, that means you got attached from your senses. There was nothing you can do. If it was up to you, you would have kept fighting. But when you say uncle, oh shit, they didn't knock you out. You mean to tell me you still stand? You gave up. You said, no mas, I do not want to continue. That's way worse than getting knocked out. As for fighters, that is way worse. Just knock me out. I'd rather get knocked out and become a meme than I look back in my career and I said, this is the moment that I broke. This is the moment that I quit. This is the moment that the guy made me say uncle, and he was a way better man than me. I bowed down and kissed the ring. I want it no more. Are you okay? Man, I was just in a fight Saturday. I was at the point where I wanted to quit. But do you really think? No, hell no, I'm not quitting. I'm not saying uncle. I chose to go out on my shield. And not only did I choose to go, I wanted to fight. Tired, exhausted. I didn't give two shits. As long as these two hands work, I was throwing them. They're like, he's spamming the 1-2. I don't give a fuck. Was it working? Then I'm going to spam it. Right? I'm going to give you what I got. Quitting is not an option in my head. You're going to have to detach me from my senses. No. He made that man quit. And I'm telling you right now, I don't think that Xander is just the weakest there. This claim that all these other guys are so much better with no belts. No belts. Shit, that sounds good. Why don't you say that shit over there, you non-belt having ass? Go sit down somewhere over there. You don't got a belt. You could claim that you're better than me. It just doesn't seem like you're doing anything with your skills. You've been here longer. You've been boxing longer. It's just what? What's the problem? You like beating up on those guys that are just beneath your skill, and it keeps showing that you're dominant. I get it. I get it. You keep beating up on those guys, but those are not like world-class guys. You know what I mean? You know, you could say what you want. He beat up, what's his name? Israel Majimov better than Terrence Crawford. Okay. But when Terrence Crawford fought him, he had 11 professional fucking fights. You mean a guy with 11 fights took the greatest fighter in the fucking planet the distance? And after you fought him, you know, what did he have? Some fucking gas fucking inflamed shit he reported or whatever. He was still responsible for the fight, bro. You took the fight, you're responsible for it. So Ortiz whooped that ass. But what was that? His 12th professional fight? 12 fights. And you can want me to jump out the window for Ortiz. Oh my God. Ortiz is him. Oh shit. He beat a guy with 12. Did the guy have 12 fights? He became his first L. Oh my God. He was a former world champion, right? Yeah, Terrence beat him, right? Oh my God. Wait a minute. How did he get that belt in the first place? Who did he beat for that belt? And how the insto facto? Wait, Ortiz didn't actually beat? He beat a decent fighter. Here we go again with the smoke screens. I'm sitting back, I'm saying to myself, phenomenal talent, Ortiz. Phenomenal talent. Great boxer, power puncher. What's the problem? What is the problem? Why? Management? Is it Oscar? Well, according to Oscar, and we could pull up a lot of footage, how many times did Oscar push Ortiz under the bus? And I'm talking about trampled him. Basically saying, no, I wanted this fight. The person that didn't want it was What did Oscar say? No, I don't get these guys nowadays because in my era, we fought everybody. What's that saying? You don't want to fight. Oscar was a different kind of fighter, though. Sometimes he'll probably get frustrated watching these kids not take these fights. You know, Oscar came from a different era. Oscar, quiet as kept, got like probably the best resume. He and out of fighters in the world, Oscar's like in the top 5 for resumes of opponents. He's like in the top 5. Arguably, you can probably make a good argument for him for that number 1 spot. I would like to see who they put against him. You know, I mean, Floyd has a lot of big names, including Oscars. You know, but I don't. Well, you see, the fact that Floyd was the American king, you know, and Oscar was not the Mexican king. Oscar got both guys on his record. He lost to Floyd, but he did beat Mexico's king, Julio Cesar Chavez, right? So Oscar got both of them guys on his record. He's got some big names on his resume, Oscar. You know, from Bija too, Bernard. Bernard was undisputed champion of the world. You know, so and it was in their fight that he became undisputed. And and then in and um it was a Mexican fighter that made our Puerto Rican belt, the WBO, a real world title. In fact, it was a Mexican fighter that did that for us. Because on the night that Oscar De La Hoya fought Bernard Hopkins, Bija, on that night, the WBO officially became a world title on that night. The WBO was like, nah, we've paid our dues. We've had a lot of champions that you guys do not acknowledge as world champions. And this belt right here is for undisputed. You're gonna have to recognize our belt. And the person that came into the fight with the belt was Oscar De La Hoya. He was the WBO world champion. He made that belt a real belt on that night. He stood on 10 toes and said, no, when you call me into the ring, you're going to announce me as a world champion because this WBO champion is a fucking belt. And that became a world championship on that night. That was like the defining moment right there for the WBO. And it was a Mexican fighter. Yeah. So it was a big moment. It was a big moment, you know, in boxing. You know, it's where the WBO had felt they were in the business for more than 10 years, I think, at that point, right? They were around for a long time. There were a lot of good WBO champions that are not going down in the history books as champion. You know, because you would have to give Marvelous Hagler credit. You would have to make him undisputed champion of the world. And he's not. He's not. He had all 3 belts. Yeah. And they stripped him because Marvelous chose to fight for the WBO. The next day, they took the other belts away from him. They stripped him or some shit like that. I remember. Yeah. Yep. Oscar, what? On pay-per-view, this guy's going ham over here. Let's see what he's saying. What? Bro, Ortiz beats. Okay. I talked about that. I if you were on my show earlier, I talked about this whole entire situation. That's just a smokescreen. Boots and Virgil will never fight. That's just a big ass smokescreen, right? Because um yeah, and Oscar got a gold medal too, right? But the shit is like I you see That's why I talk about Oscar De La Hoya on the low, and I say, yo, don't repeat this. Don't tell anybody I said this. And I said it. I said it. I said, yo, you might be able to argue with for Oscar to being the most complete, accomplished boxer in boxing history. I think what hurts Oscar is those little nights, cocaine nights, and photograph with wigs and high heels and stock. And cocaine's a hell of a drug. He had a great night right there. It looks like, right? I don't think Oscar's like on that other side, playing, switch hitting. No, Oscar always had a bad bitch on the side of him. You know what I mean? And I think that he just had some crazy nights. So that's what hurts him. If they put him as the greatest boxer, the scrutiny and all this of him, I think, by public perception. But if we're being honest, and because of the losses, Mayweather did beat him, okay, and he lost to Be Hot and things like that, okay. And because Mayweather, he came up in that era where Mayweather sold it to the people that you had to be undefeated. Like the O is the most important, that it showed that your dominance, you were never beaten. And Mayweather made the O a thing when in actuality, I tell you guys, the O is not that important because there are many fighters that have been defeated and still considered the GOAT. Ali. So you can be the GOAT and still be defeated. So you're and it's not like when you retire, you go to the Hall of Fame and they go, oh, here comes Mayweather. We give him the award for being 50-0. There's no, that's just personal. You're 50-0. But when you look at Oscar De La Hoya's resume, he's got a fucking gold medal. He's got an Olympic gold medal. You mean from the amateurs, you were a winner all the way through your fucking career? Like, if we was to look at a boxer's achievements, what you would want to achieve, Oscar De La Hoya has a gold medal. He became world champion in 6 divisions. 6 divisions. He's only got 5 divisions. Mayweather. Oscar's got 6. With the gold medal, you're complete as a fighter. There are only 2 people on the planet Earth in boxing history that have 6. Manny Pacquiao and Oscar De La Hoya. That's it. It's the only 2 people that got 6 divisions. There's no one else. That's why I think if Terrence Crawford went down to 160, he could enter that room. 6 divisions with 3 divisions with all 4 belts, that's going to be tough to beat, right? So I think Terrence should go down. But arguably, and then the only thing that takes Terrence Crawford out of the GOAT conversation is his resume. The men he shared the ring with. His resume isn't strong enough to be put against resumes like Floyd, like Oscar De La Hoya's resume, like the resumes I'm talking about. He doesn't have the names. He doesn't have himself on his record. Like Terrence never fought himself. The closest was Errol Spence Jr. that they try to sell it to you, but because of the car accidents, we don't end that performance. We don't agree. So according to everybody, Terrence has never ran into himself. No. Mayweather did. Zab Judah, Shane Mosley, Oscar De La Hoya. Who do you want to get? Hey, shit, even Saul Canelo Alvarez is on a freaking Mayweather's, and they all lost. Manny Pacquiao. Oscar's resume is ridiculous. I mean, Floyd's resume is ridiculous. You can't. That's why Terrence doesn't beat Floyd for the GOAT. He doesn't. In achievements, he rocked Floyd. Yeah, he did. He rocked Floyd in achievement. He didn't fight more champions than Floyd? No. But as accomplishments for the belts, yeah, he kind of rocked Floyd. And he matched them in divisions, 5 divisions. But when it's all said and done, what's going to give Floyd the nod is his resume. You can't overlook that. That's everything. Who was standing in the ring on the other side of you? Who did you fight? That's everything. He can't fuck with Terrence Crawford's resume can't fuck with Floyd's. And if you can't fuck with Floyd's, you're not fucking with Oscar's. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying. I think that Oscar De La Hoya has a strong fucking case for probably the most complete boxer in boxing history. He's got a strong case, Oscar De La Hoya. He really does. Mayweather doesn't have a gold medal. He's got a bronze. He ain't got no gold. And it's just overall, like your accomplishments. Oscar, I think, he's just a better accomplishment. And his names, he can match Floyd in names. Like Floyd can be like, ha, and he'd be like, ha, back at you. You know what I mean? Like Oscar got some big fucking names on his resume. So I mean, that's real interesting, man. It is. It is. Them boys, thank you. Thank you for the years of blood that you've given us throughout the years. Thank you for all those moments, Oscar De La Hoya. Thank you personally, Floyd Mayweather. Thank you, Trinidad. Thank you, Shane Mosley, and the list goes on. Julio Cesar Chavez. All of you guys that brought us blood. From the Andre Wards to the Mick Arturo Gotti's of the world. Oh my God, Arturo Gotti's. You know what I mean? And all of them, to all, just personally, all of them. Thank you for all those memorable moments and fights that I've ever witnessed in my living room that had me jumping up out of my couch, jumping at the screen saying, "Don't watch it, don't watch it." You know what I mean? Thank you, Terrence, for also, shit. He beat up Errol so bad I wanted to jump in and fight for Errol. Terrence, that's a fucking enough. That is enough. Don't you hit that man again. You know what I mean? I would have jumped in the ring. That damn it, that's enough. You ain't gonna be beating on him like that. You know what I mean? Like, man, and the Naoya Inoue of the world, man. That guy is fucking electrifying. Just thank you to all the men and women that go in there and lace it up. Like I said, I happen to have an amateur fight last Saturday. And until you're back in it training, you find a new fine respect for these guys and what they go through. They are not machines. They are not machines. We all deal with injuries and things, and this shit is not for everybody. Boxing is not for everybody. It definitely is not. And like I went out on my match by myself because I couldn't bring my wife with me because I would have been fighting. OC would have hit me with one shot and she would have jumped in the ring. She wanted, as soon as OC hit me, she was going to want OC dead. His fam dead, all of them. She wants their social security number. She wants to know where he lives. You know what I'm saying? A little white Irish lady. She's going to go crazy. She's not going to be able to see me fight. I couldn't have her there. She definitely would have jumped in the ring. Oh no, this shit is over with. We would have been getting close to each other. That's enough. That's enough. She jumped in. She can't see me fighting, type shit. So, like, to watch these guys train and to take punches and stuff, and like at my age and shit, right? It was what I was asking was my punch resistance and how hard I could also punch, right? And once I took them punches out, boom, man, I'm still strong like bull, man. You know what I mean? And you know, I I I find the new like I found the new resurgence and respect again for these fighters. and for the punches that they take in the face and shit like that, because this shit is not easy. And going in, and the fans always wanting him to fight the best after the best after the best. And I don't suggest that. I suggest you fight a great best fight, then average, then one of the best. You keep fighting the best, the best. Your career is not gonna last long. You're gonna end up like what happened to with Virgil Ortiz versus what's his name there? Lubin, right? And then everybody's saying, "Oh, Lubin's done. He's damaged. He's a damaged fighter." I'm not sure if he's a damaged fighter, or rather than Lubin kept jumping in tough fight after tough fight after tough fight after tough fight. I think Virgil would have knocked out anybody with that shot to the temple the way he caught him. I think he caught him on the button. It just looks bad because the way he got knocked out, but I'm not too sure if Lubin is damaged goods 100%. Let me see when he fights in his next fight, how he takes punches. It was just too early. He got caught way too early. Now, had he been, bam, a jab, and he staggers, and then boom, just a straight right, and then he's all over the place. Now, you could see he's not taking punches well. But I think that punch that Virgil hit him with, 80% of the boxers Virgil would have hit with that shot was going out. They were going out. So, I'm not, yes, I get it. I wanted to come up here and say Lubin's damaged goods, but I can't. You gotta really analyze the evidence. You can't just, look, he got not damaged goods. That's not how it works. There is a scenario here where he just got caught with a big shot that even if you take away that Sebastian knockout and that other knockout, you take that away from Lubin, I'm on the line believing you get just a prime Lubin without taking none of those ass whoops, he still would have got knocked out like that. He caught him too flush. I think he hit him on the button. Did you see how that man was knocked out standing up? He was out. He hit him on the button, bro. And I can't say that he's completely damaged, 100 damaged goods. No. Same thing I can't say about Devin Haney. How can I say by one ass whooping? Okay. The only person that beat Devin Haney up like that was Ryan Garcia. He was in a fight with Loma. Yes, he was in a fight. He didn't get beat up. He got beat up with Ryan. Okay? But he was also young. And I wasn't on the line that he got beat up to the point where it's like, yo, throw in the tire, will save his life. No. He was getting knocked down. He was getting up. His eyes were still clear. He was still engaging. He was in a fight. That wasn't that kind of ass whooping. No, it wasn't. Some people want to make it that. No, Bill Haney doesn't love his son. Devin was in there fighting for his life, and he didn't think. No, he gave his son a chance. He understood. No, my son's in a fight. We're not there in the fight yet. It might have looked bad, but Devin didn't check out. And he was right. He made it to the 12th round. He didn't give him the advantage of knocking him out. And Devin don't got no quit in him. Right? So, how the fuck did now Devin's damage good? No. What Devin is here. Psychological. That's a different kind of damage. See what I'm saying? As far as punch resistance and Devin Bien, I think as far as a fighter physically, I think he's fine. I think Devin's fine. I think it's here. And that Ortiz fight, they're trying to say he's damaged as a fighter physically. That he can't take punches. Boom, he's just going to get knocked out. That's a different situation. You see what I'm saying? But, respectfully, I know who Virgil Ortiz is. He's a real threat. um, no matter which way you take it, no matter which way you want to view this shit, is it his management or is it him? Is it bad timing in Virgil's life that he hasn't become a world champion in neither of the divisions he's ever been in? But he's always been the number one guy. It was just that guy that was in front of him was Terrence Crawford. And then once Terrence Crawford got all the belts, he didn't fight Errol Spence Jr. neither. He didn't fight Ugas. He didn't fight, like, what was Virgil's problem? It just seemed like everybody was getting belts and he was always here. He moves up to a new weight division, and guess where he goes again? In the exact same position he just was in down here. And I can't help but notice, hold up. Now these two dudes are fighting for belts. They made themselves valuable. They made themselves have something that the other guy wants. And in boxing, not all fighters want to get a world title and unify. The fact that you get a guy that has the same ambitions and same goals as you in the same division that you're in and that wants to fight you. You see, in these kind of situations, you have to have value. And if Virgil Ortiz had a real world title, the other champions could be enticed to fight him. Now, wouldn't they? The reason why they're probably fighting is because they both have something each other wants. You have a belt, I have a belt. Why would I fight Virgil when you don't have anything to offer me? You haven't made yourself valuable. What you made yourself is a real threat. It's more likely that I would lose against you than him, but he has the belt. You're just a fucking threat, Virgil. Why would anybody want to give you an opportunity? And that's when these fighters gotta take big chances and fight for fucking vacated belts or fight that champion. Just like once upon a time, Errol Spence Jr. took a chance and went out there and won a belt. Devin Haney took a chance. Sometimes you got to take a chance, Papa, and get these kind of fights and maybe be the first person to fight Sebastian Fundora. But he didn't take that chance because the WBC would have signed off on that, I think, for Virgil. But it just doesn't happen, does it? I don't know what to say. All I can say about Virgil is he's fucking a great fighter. He's a great fighter. If he was to fight Jaron Boots Ennis, crazy enough, that's a 50-50 fight. Everybody thinks like Jaron Boots Ennis is going to dog walk Virgil Ortiz or some shit like that. That's crazy. I think Virgil Ortiz is a way better fighter than fucking Karen there. He's strong. He's durable. He hits hard. If Jaron Boots Ennis is sloppy anywhere in the fight, Virgil's going to expose it. Then we would have to see how strong Jaron Boots Ennis' chin is. What kind of beard he really has. And can Jaron Boots Ennis fight out of rhythm? Is he only a rhythm fighter? Is he the kind of guy that he always has to move? If Virgil shuts that shit down and makes Jaron Boots Ennis stand in front of him, that can be a tough fight. Jaron Boots Ennis cracks too. He's got a good punch. He's fast as hell too. That's always a good matchup when you got the US versus Mexico. That's the fucking one of the greatest rivalries in boxing right there. That's an interesting fight, but that's why I know 100% you're not going to get that fight The statement alone, $10 million. I've talked about it several times. That alone, right there, told me right as soon as I heard that, I was like, oh, there's no fight. There's no fight. They're waiting for them to become champion and probably later in the future visit the fight later and making the excuse. That's all they're doing. That's fight's not going to materialize. No, no. And then you got this rumor fight with Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson and Chris Maddox and all this stuff. And you see a couple things talk about signed, sealed, delivered. They said that same shit about Teofimo Lopez and Subriel Matias. That they were in negotiation, they were this close of making the fight. This fight is basically signed. Never happened. Same thing I think is going to happen with Shakur Stevenson. Same thing I think is going to happen with Virgil Ortiz and Jerron Butenis. That fight is not going to happen. It's not. And then the fact that Xander is really shaking up the division. If Xander goes after the WBA champion, and let's just say in a good world, Xander pulls that off, where do you think his next target is going to be? Xander. He's going after Sebastian Fundora for that WBC. Yes, he is. You got to remember that Xander was one of the only boxers that tried to corner Sebastian Fundora into doing a face-off right after he won those 2 belts and he was coming from the locker room. That Sebastian Fundora's sister Gabriela said no to the face-off. His sister, Sebastian Fundora was like, "Yeah, I'll do a face-off real quick with you," and his sister said no face-off, and she went like this. She went and she pointed to her brother to the locker room, and her brother said, "Yes, sis." So Xander already showed that when he had the WBO title, Sebastian Fundora, Xander wanted to smoke. So Xander wasn't scared of him then, and he's not scared of him now. Xander has been had his eye on the Tower Inferno. They've been watching him. They've been studying him. For a long time, he's been on the radar. So, and then I think if Xander gets by this guy and he gets the second belt, I don't think he's going to go at the Bakram first. I really don't. You know why? Dollars and cents. And Xander got the WBC. Bakram's got the IBF. Yeah, okay, cool. But he's got the WBC belt, right? And Sebastian Fundora's he's on a up. I think he'll sell better tickets in the US. He'll be better marketable like in a place like Las Vegas or New York than Bakram. It'll just make better dollars and cents. Then it'll be a unification for 3 belts. It'll just be better. You know what I mean? So I think that's the way Xander's going to go. If he can't get these fights, I think he moves out of the division. I think he might move out of the division. There's been rumors, circulating that Xander's getting too big for the division, that it might be time to move up. I think that the young man is trying to keep his weight right around where he's fighting so that when it does take time to cut weight, he doesn't, he's already got this unification locked in the bag. I like that about the young man. I can't say that, Xander's not doing the right moves right now as a champion. He's obviously doing what he needs to do. He got in the sport and he wants to be a multiple champion is what he wants. And that's good for him. It really speaks to the pedigree of what kind of fighter he actually is. And now where he's at in his career is he's going to have to show the world, I am who I am. We never know who these guys are when they first start off. No one can say that Mayweather was going to be the fighter and develop into the guy he was. No, I never knew that this 5'5" Japanese dude was going to do the shit he was doing. And I didn't think that Terrence Crawford at the beginning of his career, all I saw with this skinny guy with braids from Omaha fucking beating the shit out of everybody. But I didn't think he was going to turn into Terrence Crawford. No. So, um, you know, it's good to see these guys in these positions. So, is this what we're watching in real time? The legacy that is Xander? Is this where he starts? Putting that shit together? It could very well be. Or he could lose and then come back, win like other champions. Yeah, but like a dominant streak, like Terrence Crawford's of the world, like that type shit, like the Uziks, shit like that. I didn't. When you saw Usyk in cruiserweight and he won his first belt, at that point did you say, "Oh shit, he's gonna get all four and he's gonna go up to the heavyweight division and get all four up there"? When you saw him win one belt, no, you didn't know that. He had to become that guy. So it's nice to see these guys like move up. Like I'm about to watch Abdullah Mason fight Sam Notes, and is this the beginning of the Mason era? He's going in, and Keyshawn Davis said that he's coming back. There's a lot of good fighters right now that are fights that are being announced. So yeah, in Puerto Rico, what? Ah, no big names. He's taking the path of less resistance. Well, versus Bud, nah, Bud would kill him. Bud's too good for Xander. Xander's too young to fight as an experienced fighter like Bud. He might no, he will outsmart Xander. He's Bud's too nah. Bud is way too seasoned for Xander, a fighter like Xander. That's too far. That's going too far. But um taking the path of least resistance has to be one of those kinds of scenarios where that you need to break down the fighter and where they're at in their career. Sometimes what happens, and I have a tendency of sometimes doing this myself, of judging all fighters the same on an equal playing field, when you cannot do that, because a lot of these fighters are in different points in their career. You have to remember Xander is 22 years old. He's not a 30-year-old man that's undefeated, that's up here, that his options are a little bit different. With Xander, you have time. With some other fighters, you don't have the luxury of time. You were still supposed to be in the growing phase with Xander. It just happens to be that he won a world title. But not everybody was saying that Xander was championship material. And lo and behold, it was enough to win him a world title with what he has. He's not in the same situation where that you need to start feeding him to the wolves. He does have a target on his back because now he got a belt. So now he has to represent. So now it's either sink or swim. I get it. But in actuality, he was never supposed to be there. He was still supposed to be developing as a fighter. He's in a different position in his career than a lot of these fighters that are further along. Do you get it? So I have a boxing mind. I know how to read these fighters. I know how to acknowledge where he's at in his career from him. They might have a similar record, but they're not in the same place. And some fighters are much more polished than others coming out of the gate. Naoya Inoue was way more polished than your average fighter. Abdullah Mason looked a lot more polished than your day ones, didn't he, in the pros? Camille Moten looks like a better polished fighter on his day one. So much, in fact, that Floyd wanted him to fight a champion on his first fight, Lee Woods. Not every kid looks like that. Not everybody's in the same position where you're at. But since I cover boxing, I do my due diligence to do several things. Read the fighters, know where they're at in their career, and understand what they're doing. And when you say styles make fights, I don't just say it, I mean it. This is what I do. I break down styles. I look at fighters. Why did he do that? How did he do it? Why does that work against his style? And why does his style beat his? That's why you're here. And I'm trying to tell you that, a lot of these guys, they're like, oh, he's trash. And I'm looking at it and I'm saying, no, he's the better boxer out of all of them. He's a better boxer than Sebastian Fundora. He's a better boxer than Bakram. He's a better boxer than the WBA champion, than all of them. He's a better boxer. Xander is a better boxer. Is he a bigger puncher than all of them? No. Just because he's a better boxer, can he outbox all of them? If they were to box him, he should be able to, but they're not going to box Xander. No. Some of them are going to be boxer punchers. Some of them are going to be more technicians. Some of them are going to be, they're going to be a little different. But boxing, you might not want to box Xander. You're going to get your head punched off. Just ask Chino Perez. He tried to box Xander. He got beat up. That shit didn't work. If Bakram goes in there and tries to box Xander, he's done. Bakram's got to fucking get Xander's attention. He's got to hit him with those big shots, slow him down, work the body a little, disrupt Xander, keep that forward pressure in his face, put him up against the rope, beat him up, break Xander round by round. He'll finish Xander. Yes, like that. But I don't think Bakram should box Xander. No. That would be a mistake. Sebastian Fundora is just a puzzle. He's just a conundrum. He can box Xander. He can fight him on the inside. That would have to be something I would have to see. Fucking Sebastian, bro. That's a problem. That's a fucking problem right there. I don't know how fighters like Ortiz is gonna beat Sebastian Fundora. I don't know. I think overall Ortiz is a way better fighter than Brian Mendoza. Yes, I do think that. But remarkably, I think a more action-packed fight would be Ortiz versus Tim Tszyu. Right? That would be a good fight. But then you saw what Sebastian Fundora did to Tim Tszyu. You see what I'm saying? But then wait a minute, Brian Mendoza knocked out the Tower Inferno. Like knocked him out. One punch. A walk-off. But Tim Tszyu beat the shit out of him. Triangle theories don't work in boxing. They don't work. So it's really like, every fighter is going to be reduced to the overhands fighting the Tower Inferno, of course. That's his kryptonite shot. That's going to be the shot that puts him down. It was the shot that put him down the first time. It will be the shot the next time. That is the shot right there. So whatever fighter is going to have to develop that. I don't think there's a guy tall enough in the division to be like right there with him coming in at, what is he, 6'6"? Jesus Christ. Sebastian Fundora, what is he, 6'6"? That is just, I don't know how he makes this weight. That's just, same thing with Espinoza's as 6'1" at 126. 120. Bro, when's the last time any of you have weighed 126? 126 pounds? That's fucking crazy. I just fought. I fought at 180. I weighed in at 181 in my fight. I fight with the big boys, 180. 126? I'm all of 5'8", 5'9", 5'9" on a really tall day. When I'm really thinking tall thoughts, I'm 5'9", right? You know? Right? Jesus Christ, six. Oh my God. I don't know how he makes that. I have no idea. Wait a minute. When I was looking up Sebastian Fedora, right? Yeah, yeah. I was looking up Sebastian here. I think he's 6'6". They have him listed at 6'5" and a half. 6'5" and a half. He's basically 6'6". That's crazy. He has an 80-inch arm reach. 80-inch arm reach. Jesus Christ. And right, he is currently right now the WBC super welterweight champion of the world. Uh Sebastian Fedora at 154 pounds, right? Okay. He has a belt. In fact, he has the WBC belt. Okay. They have him on Box Rec ranked. He's an American fighter. He's ranked out of all the American fighters at 154. There are 351 American fighters registered at the 154-pound weight division. He's number 3. In the world, there are 2,314 registered 154 professional fighters in the 154-pound. 2,300. He's ranked in the world number 4. He has a belt. Who's the number 1, you think? 154 pounder in the world. Who would you think is the number 1 at 154? That box red got him down as the number 1. Well, let's just find out then, right? All right. We'll go down to the super welterweight. Ain't this a bitch? I knew it. 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 And I just clicked on his name because I knew it. You know who they have ranked for the best 154 pounder in the world right now? There are 351 American registered fighters, and there are 2,314 worldwide. Jerron Boots Ennis is the number 1 in both categories. He is the number 1 consensus 154-pound champion of the world, and he doesn't have a belt. He doesn't have a belt. I guarantee you we'll go to um Virgil Ortiz. They got him for the number 1, but they're gonna try to sell it to you as Mexican. Let's check him out. I'm gonna look it up. Hold up. Let's go down and check out Virgil. Here's Virgil Ortiz. I bet you they got him for a Mexican. I bet you. No. Yeah, they did the right thing because Virgil's not Mexican. He represents the U.S. He was born in U.S. So Virgil's not Mexican per se. Nah, he's an American. He's an American Mexican, but his flag is America. Yeah, and they didn't sell it to you. Virgil is the number 2, and he doesn't have a belt. So the 2 top super welterweights, according to Box Rec right now, the 2 top 154-pound fighters by the consensus in the world, both of them don't have belts. Is the world broken? Is boxing broken? You're not giving none of these champions credit at 154 Boxing World? Ain't that a bitch? What do I have to do to be the number? You don't even got a guy. None of you got belts. That's a damn shame, man. That's a shame. What do they got the other champions down as? Let me see. Let me see. Hold up. Let me check it out. Damn. That's a smack in the face. Where'd they have Sebastian Fundora, we said? They had no Sebastian Fundora 4. He was number 4, right? Jerron Boots Ennis was number 1. Virgils was number 2. I wonder who's number 3. Okay, so who has to be number 3? Would they give Xander? No, I bet you not. They're gonna give it to Bachram, I bet. Oh, okay. They got Xander worldwide number 3. Yeah, he's number 1 for the Puerto Ricans because the Puerto Ricans only got 12 fighters registered at 154. So out of 12 Puerto Rican fighters that honor the Puerto Rican flag, he's number 1 out of all the Puerto Ricans that are in 154 pound. There's only 12 of them. So he is the number 3. So Bachram's got to be number 4. I don't even have to look him up. He has to be, right? So, wait a minute. Wait a minute, because there is another champion, the WBA champion. We can't he just became that. He got kind of like elevated. I don't see him beating Bachram, right? Just in case, let's make it official. Just in case. I'm not gonna guess, assume. Assume. You know what they say about assuming, right? No way. No way. That's crazy. What? Okay, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna put this up on the screen. I got to. I gotta put this on the screen. You guys gotta see this for yourself. This is Bachram. He has 23 fights, 17 ways by knockout. You see him when he's on the screen. I want you to pay attention to them. He has no star ranking and he's not ranked. His status, what's that say right there? What's that word? Inactive. Right there. You see it right there. Meaning, this is what I'm saying to you guys. Let's see if it'll jump back for me. It didn't do it for me. Okay. All right. Here it is. 5-star ranking. You see the ranking? 5 stars. You see that globe? He's number 3 out of 2,314 registered fighters. You see the Puerto Rican flag? He's number 1 out of 12 fighters. Do you see how it reads here? So at 154 pounds, there are 2,314 fighters. He's number 3 worldwide. Let's go back again. See if it'll. No? Okay, here's another one. Worldwide, he's number 2 out of 2,314. American fighters, he's number 2 out of 351 registered fighters. Do you see? Now, look, watch. Oh, no, we went too far. Okay, wait. Sorry. All right. Okay, Jerron Boots Ennis right here. Boom. Jerron Boots Ennis. You see the globe? Number 1. You see the number 1 on the American flag out of 351 registered fighters, just like Virgil Ortiz. He's number 1. He's number 2. When you go back, we look up the champions, and we look at Bachram. No 5-star ranking. No ranking in the world. He's inactive. He has to fight to get a ranking. Same thing that happened with Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Crawford when they met in their fight. And I like to bring up points like this because when they say that Terrence Crawford beat a pound for pound fighter or future Hall of Famer or whatever, the problem with that scenario is when he came into the fight, Errol Spence Jr. was an inactive fighter. He got his ranking at the day after he lost. Same thing that would happen to Bakram here. Not until he fights that he will get his ranking back and his status. But if you're out of the game too long, inactivity is a real thing. Look, no ranking. And I want you to see this for yourselves. This is the type of shit we talking about. A guy comes back, right? You whoop his ass. Then what do they say? Oh, inactivity. You can see that ring rust. Whose fault is that? You know what I mean? So Virgil Ortiz is #1 in Ring Magazine. Yo. Cardcast Boxing, listen. Listen, my man. Jesus Christ. These fans are crazy. All right. I'm gonna hit you with this one just real quick. I'm gonna try to end your little, oh, he's #1 in Ringside Magazine and what? What do you want me to jump through hoops because you said that? For a belt that means what? In the real world. Your Ringside Magazine could be a prestigious belt that's been around for decades. It holds a lot of weight. And the Ring Magazine at one point in time was the Bible of boxing. I know all of that. I know the history of Ringside Magazine. But I also know what's real and what's not real. And I'm going to prove it to you right now. When Saul Canelo Alvarez enters the ring, do they say he's the undisputed champion in a 4-belt era or a 5-belt era? I'll wait. Do the real boxing guys acknowledge the Ringside Magazine? Do they say you have 5 belts? When whoever has the Ringside Magazine, do they always announce it separate? It's not a major world title. The Ringside Magazine is an award that goes around your waist. And fight fans keep getting that confused with a real belt. The Ringside Magazine is supposed to be the top 1 guy fighting the top 2nd guy. You're supposed to be like the toughest out of the #1 and 2. But respectfully so, why can't the #15 guy compete for it? Why can't the #30, the #20? So it's not awarded, or everyone is not age eligible to win your belt. You have to be in a certain situation, in a certain category, or be the people's champion in order to obtain it or to compete for it. So in order to make the Ringside Magazine a big belt, you got to attach it to the alphabet boys. And whenever you get in the ring and the organizations want to strut their muscle just to keep the status quo, to remind the boxing world who's on top, when they announce their champion, do they say the IBF champion? Yes. And if the IBF champion has another belt, what do they say? The unified world champion, right? And then they say, and the current Ring Magazine champion. Magazine champion. Magazine. Not world champion. You're a magazine champion. All right? So there's no 5-belt era. For as long as the Ring Magazine's been around, from the one belt era. Remember that. The ring has been around since the WBA was king. That's how far back we're going. You mean to tell me, not in any era, not in a 2-belt era, not a 3-belt era, not a 4-belt era, did they ever announce your belt in with us? The Alphabet Boys. We are not fighting in a 5-belt era. And if we're not fighting in a 5-belt era, what's your belt? Yeah. So don't come up here with that ring shit. Teofimo Lopez. Talk about, I'm a 2-time ring champion. And I want to fight you for that ring belt. Man, pack that shit up. Yeah, you got a nice award, T.O. Yo, that Ring magazine is prestigious. I'm not shitting on the Ring magazine. I would be honored to have that belt. Yes, but I know what it is. It's a pretty fucking amazing trophy. That's what it is. I would like that trophy. It's a fucking awesome trophy. It's not a world title. There's a difference. But thank God you're here at Round One Sports Talk. We can clear shit like that up. And facts over feelings here. If your butt hurt because I told you the truth about the ring, go look it up. When did Mike Tyson need the Ring magazine belt to be undisputed? When? When did Usyk need the Ring magazine to be undisputed? When did Naoya Inoue need the rings? When did Saul Canelo Alvarez need the Ring magazine to be called undisputed? When? They didn't need that shit. You know what I mean? Just like in Mike Tyson's era. I got him right here. Mike Tyson, you can't be able to see him. He's up on this wall. He's my greatest heavyweight. That's my personal greatest heavyweight. I'm not saying that he is. That's my guy. Like Mike Tyson did not need the WBO to be undisputed. He was in a 3-belt era. Mike had the 3 top belts. Mike had the WBC, the WBA, and the IBF. And he was undisputed. That's all he needed. And Mike never had the WBO. He didn't need the WBO, and he didn't need the Ringside magazine. But now the WBO is a real world title. You need that to be undisputed in today's era. It's a 4-belt era. Ain't no 5-belt era. You don't need the ring. They don't count it. So, that ring shit, nice trophy. Fucking nice trophy. But that's it. Yes, I love the ring belt. It's the Rocky belt. Who doesn't love the fucking ring belt? That belt is prestigious, bro. You know, that trophy belt? That shit is prestigious. It's been around a long time, man. It's got some weight, carries weight. You know, honorably, somehow the ring has always attached themselves to some great fucking champions. You know, I never seen Mayweather flaunting the Ring magazine belt around. No, I never seen him doing that. I'm not sure if Ali ever had like the ring or anything, or if he did, he didn't fucking, not like Tio does. Tio doesn't leave his house without both Ring magazines. I think he actually ties his belt with one and has the other one. That's all Tio fucking wears is the goddamn Ring magazines, because that's all he really, you know what I mean? So, like, and I mean, it's for Turkey. Ever since Turkey had it. Look, I got your ring belt on. You know how that goes, right? So all of a sudden, the ring belt became fucking, ever since acquiring it from Oscar De La Hoya, which I loved Oscar De La Hoya for that, for keeping the Ring magazine up and afloat as long as he did. And he was a man that knew boxing, whether or not I felt like it was biased because they favored Mexican fighters. I don't give a fuck. Oscar kept that Ring magazine alive. Scrutiny or not, he did the right thing. You want to judge Oscar? I don't care. He's the reason why the Ring magazine stood alive this long. Oscar. Yeah, because it could have folded, bought out because magazines are not bought anymore. Oscar made the transition and doing online shit and everything and kept it going. That magazine could have fell apart. That belt could be no more. And then he gave it to Turkey. And what Turkey did was Turkey bought a belt. And I always said this, Turkey's gonna try to turn that Ring magazine into a real belt. And he can. He doesn't have to sell it to you. It's been around too long. The Ring is prestigious. That's a fucking amazing belt award. He shouldn't have any problems. He can probably beat out right now with that Ringside magazine. He can beat out the IBO. The IBO. The IBO is a European belt that's coming from Europe that's trying to making big noise. There's already been some pretty decent men that have had the IBO world title. In recent, Stephen Kubo Fulton had an IBO, Klitschko's, and the list goes on of many, many fighters that have owned an IBO. Lomachenko beat up uh 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 George Kamboza for his IBO title. You know what I mean? So I think Loma had an IBO too. So it's been trying to make its way so that we have a 5 belt era. So that one day the IBO, spills enough blood and people takes their organization serious. I think that the Ringside magazine right now can jump over the IBO. It's that powerful with Turkey at the helm. They could make that a real belt. You're going to have to like redo it again and then make people pay sanctioning fees to your belt, I guess. And I don't know, like back the belt. You got to back it. A lot of these problems with these belts that people say, why are you paying 3% to the belt, sanctioning fees? Well, you have to have an office in an organization and people to answer phone calls, right? How are you paying those people? With what? With hopes and prayers? No, you're at your job. Boxing is a job, a sport, right? Okay. The WBA, the IBF, the WBC, and the WBO have been building boxing world stages for centuries. They have the world stage and they have their belts. And if you want to compete for that, you're at your job, you got to pay into it. It keeps the organizations alive to keep pumping out belts. It's called business, right? I don't think everybody works for free. Then they have events, conventions, shit like that. Every whatever so often, they'll invite all the champions back and have a champions convention to thank all the champions that represented their organization, right? Okay. So that's why you do that. What's up? Loma beat up on Haney? Yeah, he did. What do you think? But the ring we got more. Well, as far as it comes to ranking, right? The reason why the Ringside magazine is, that's that's its bread and butter. That's the whole thing that makes the Ringside magazine, what you just said right there. When you got the number one and the number two fighting against each other, you got the toughest versus the toughest, right? That's the whole thing behind. That's what makes the Ringside magazine. That's what's selling it to you. That if you have this belt, you're supposed to be the tough man of the division. Not that you're the world champion of the division, but that you're the toughest of the division. Meaning, is there a possibility where you can just have the Ringside magazine with no belt? Has there ever been a world where that exists? Or does the Ringside Magazine only attach itself to people that are either fighting for a belt or already have a belt? So it's real hard to see the Ringside Magazine by itself holding its own weight, its own value in a fight. We're fighting tonight for the Ringside Magazine. That's it. When's the last time you've seen that? Or do you need to have a real alphabet belt on the line attached to the ring? So if you're always attaching yourself only to winners, it's going to give you the perception that damn, that belt must be great. Because the only time you see it is when these belts come out. Where's the Ringside Magazine champion that holds the night by himself? When have you ever bought a ticket to a fight or tuned in and the Ringside Magazine belt was on the line by itself? When's the last time you beat your chest for the Ringside Magazine champion? When's the last time you argued? Hey, guess what? Ringside Magazine champion will beat all your champions. He's the toughest out of all your champions. Guess what? 9 out of 10 times, that Ringside Magazine has all those belts or has belts. So he's already the champion. So we already know that he's a tough guy. You're just attaching a tough award to that tough guy. Is that what you're doing? So that every time we do see it, that's all you see is the ring with winners. Let's see someone bring that up. Then we're talking. The only way you can get it is by fucking doing one of the most honorable things. You know what I'm saying? Like Jack Johnson. Jesus fucking Christ. Are you crazy, dude? Jack Johnson. This guy is fucking gone, bro. You can't compare Jack Johnson to anybody that's been alive in the last 100 years in boxing. What the fuck are you doing? Like, Jack, oh my God. Like, a man that's a pioneer, a trendsetter, like, he broke barriers. That Jack Johnson you're talking about? Jesus Christ. The man was dating white women when it was forbidden to even go in a bathroom stall. Oh my God. Like, are you crazy? That's how far back the Ring magazine and it's still not a belt? Jesus Christ. Those eras, that's why Ring magazine belts were made. It was an era where the whites didn't fight the blacks. We were in a different time. That's a different time. And the people felt like the black African fighter, the American black African fighter, was the real champion. And although the white champion at the time would not ever fight him, so we never got to see it, what the people said was, here, wear this Ringside Magazine belt, keep your head up high. We recognize you as the people's champion. Throughout the years, the Ringside Magazine has fluctuated in its position in boxing and how you viewed it. Movies like the Rocky movie and Sylvester Stallone and wearing that kind of belt really populated the belt in its time. Then after a while, it kind of became a popularity contest where the most popular of fighters were the ones that were wearing it, not the most deserving. Then people started popping up with that Ringside Magazine belt in just regular fights, like Lomachenko. He didn't fight the number one guy that this and that. He was already a champion. See, it was supposed to be that you're not a champion. It's supposed to be that the number one ranked guy, fights the number 2 ranked guy to prove that they're the toughest to fight for a real world championship. Now all of a sudden, champions that already been champion are getting the belt, and champions are fighting for vacated belts, like Lomachenko. You see, the rules in a championship setting is supposed to be as such. If you have a world title, let's say you have the IBF champion cannot compete for the vacated WBA world title. You have to allow someone that's not a champion compete against it, win it, then you can unify. But the IBF champion, you can't do that. And now, like, boxing has allowing certain things to take place that shouldn't have taken place. And a lot of those Ringside Magazine champions did not honorably win those belts the way it's drawn up. They didn't. The number 1 did not fight the number 2 and win the ring. No, they were awarded the Ring Magazine on a certain fight. So when you start doing shit like that in your belt, it changes its title of what you see the Ringside Magazine actually being throughout the years. It's changed from the from the People's Belt to the Ringside Belt to the number 1 fighting the number 2 to its detail, its title fluctuates. And that's where I think it loses a little bit of its steam. Prestigious, yes, very prestigious, very, very. But that's where it is. That's where it is. And like I said to you, I will prove it to you that it is not a world title. They do not say we're fighting in a 5-belt era, do they? What do they? 4-belt era. They'll say the truth. You just got to listen. You just got to listen. They're going to reveal the truth to you. Yeah. Love boxing, brother. Love boxing. Trust me. And what was that too? Marco Boxing loves Jack Johnson. There have been a lot of moments in boxing, right? And there's a lot of fighters that you can look back, special moments and what fighters did. Fighters like Jack Johnson, Sugar Ray Robinson, Lewis, um, Muhammad Ali, fighters like that, they were much more than fighting. They were bigger than boxing. They were they were symbols in a time and an era where we were really divided as a people. And they showed strength in a time where we really needed to come together. So their situation, it's easy to tie up the two. What they did and how big of a person they were outside of boxing to their boxing. And it's easy to intertwine both of those because they were the same man. The things that Jack Johnson stood for and the how he stood strong and in a time in an era where he lived in. We know you know what I'm talking about. Those are different kind of men. They're different. They stood for much more than just boxing. Fighters like Ali was a bit of a poet. He was really good with his words and he knew how to talk. Uh Lewis, Joe Lewis was in one of the biggest fights, I believe, when we fought against the Nazis, Schillings. That fight right there, when people took to the streets and were tuning in on their radios at that time, in time when radios was where you caught the fight on, he brought a nation together. On that day, black people, white people were in the streets hugging each other when in a time blacks and whites wouldn't even be in the same room, let alone in the street hugging, clapping, crying. That was a victory. I can't put something on that. He fought the Germans while we were in war. The president of the United States of America contacted him in his locker room when it was a luxury to have a phone. I don't know if he ever at the time talked on a phone. Joe Louis. I don't know. Are you kidding me? That the president called you on a fight? How big was that? When you like, it's not like Terrence Crawford is fighting for the right of America. Like Tank Davis is fighting Russia or something. Like the whole world, like those were moments. They were just bigger. Name me a bigger fight, a bigger moment in a fight. Ali fighting um, George in Africa, Rumble in the Jungle. That's a big moment, but I'm not sure if it's bigger than us versus them. That was us versus us, kind of, right? Right? I mean, these guys were so, man, listen, just different eras, different times. And then Sugar Ray Robinson, right? What he did, his run, crazy, man. And you think about fighters like Julio Cesar Chavez. What was he like 90 and 0? Like what? 90 and 0. Like what he did for Mexico. Julio Cesar Chavez, bro. Although, respect. I say this with respect, guys. I don't think he's the best Mexican fighter. Although the best Mexican fighter in my eyes never got to be the best Mexican fighter, stay with me, Salvador Sanchez. I think if he not died, respectfully, I think Salvador Sanchez goes down as the greatest Mexican fighter and the greatest boxing mind. For as young as that guy was, the way he fought, what could have been, man? What could have been, bro? So I say that with respect. I don't disrespect, no legend or nothing. I'm just saying that my personal opinion, I think Salvador Sanchez might have went down as the greatest Mexican fighter. I don't, Julio Cesar Chavez, he's here, he lived, he did what he did. He's the king. I think he's the king. I know he lost to Oscar. I know Oscar is, and they want to argue Oscar's not Mexican. Yeah, he is. Yes, he is. All right. Mexican American. Okay. I get it. You guys want a born Mexican fighter like that. So, and then the argument's gonna come with Canelo Alvarez. He's like knocking at the back door, like seriously, like uh Canelo got great names under his belt, some good names, so he's got a good record, guys. I think he's the last of a dying breed, Canelo Alvarez. I truly think so. Pay attention to what you guys are witnessing. I don't think you'll ever see this again. A fighter that got 60 plus fighters. I think he's the last of the Mohegans. We won't see guys with 60 plus fighters ever again. These guys are too fucking divas, want to fight twice a year, once a year. Freaking, we'll never see that shit again. 60 for, yeah, right. I think Saul's the last of his kind. That's it. I really think that. Uh and respectfully, I guess the Mexicans, Jimmy, let them figure it out who they think is the best fighter they've ever had. I gave you mine, but for the Americans, man, uh the argument gets tangled. Some of these guys did some big shit out the ring, and you can't argue that with what they did in the ring. Then there's two separate eras, 15 rounders. We can't bring that into the 12 round conversation. It's just not fair. At some point, we had to draw a line in the sand, and we have to judge these fighters from this point to that point. You can't keep doing this Jack Johnson shit, okay? Because we're not gonna. You can't. You just can't beat those guys. Hey, that was a freaking different time, man. You're not beating those guys. But as far as right now in this era right here, for as long as I'll go from 1970s and up, the 1970s and up, right? And if you got some shit from there up, then you're in it. As far as that goes, uh, you know, I believe a lot of countries have their guys. The Klitschko brothers did their thing. Uzyk's doing his. Naoya Inoue's doing his for Japan, setting their way. And you got the Canelo Alvarez is doing theirs for Mexico. You got Manny Pacquiao for the Philippines. You got a lot of these great champions from all over the world. And that's the beauty about boxing. That's what I wanted. When I watch boxing, I ask myself, who's the greatest fighter in the world? What does he look like? And where does he come from? I don't give a fuck what skin color he is, what he is. I don't care. I know what I'm looking at. That's why I support fighters like Naoya Inoue from Japan, because it's not that he's Japanese. It's that his fight, what he does as a boxer in the ring. And I can't help but notice he has to be the best boxer I've ever seen, well-rounded, in a long time. And I'll go out on a limb, and I'll stand by this. He's the best boxer we have in this era. There's no better fighter in his respectable division. Are there bigger guys, bigger men? Yes. Yes. It's hard to look at Naoya Inoue in his weight division and want to take him serious. But if we were talking about skills, and that's what I'm talking about, and what you do in your division, that's all I can judge you on. That's it. How do you do in your division? Naoya Inoue has fought only the best of the top quality. What he's doing, I've never seen it in the sport of boxing. In fact, for everything I've ever witnessed, for everything that I know to be true in boxing, I've never seen what he's doing, ever. No man has ever done this. 26 consecutive world title fights. He became a champion in only his 6th professional fight. By his 8th professional fight, he was a 2-division champion. He has 4 divisions. He has belts in 4 divisions. Every time he jumped up to another division, he used the champion as a tune-up fight. His last, forever, for as long as I can remember, Naoya Inoue has a stipulation in his contract that I guess it's got to be true, that he fights no tune-up fights. That the only way he was going to sign with that promoter, I'm going to mess up his name, in Japan, the only way he signed with him is that you only give him the top guys. He's only going to fight the number 1, the number 2, and number 3. If the number 1 is not available, go to the number 2. If the number 2 is not available, go to the number 3. Like that. That's how he fights. And the only reason why in recent fights with Naoya Inoue, you saw him fight fighters like Lee Young Kim, um, TJ Doheny. The reason why you seen him fight Roman Cardenas, the reason why you saw him fight those kind of fights, because the number one guy said no. The number two guy said hell no. The number three guy didn't answer the phone. That's why you saw those kind of fights. That's when you see the guy just telling the entire division, you want your shot? You're the number one guy. Let's go. And all of a sudden, is my mom calling me? Is that my mother calling me? I gotta go, bro. They're calling you. Not right now. Oh shit. I got a bunion. I gotta have toe surgery. Naoya, anyway, I cannot fight you right now. I gotta have toe surgery. I gotta get this bunion taken care of. Bro, excuse after excuse after excuse. Remember, he's fighting David Picasso right now in December. The same David Picasso that denied the fight in Las Vegas, that gave the fight up to Roman Cardenas because David Picasso was the number one back then. Remember that. Remember. Now they must have gave him so much money that he's willing to go out there and fight Naoya Inoue. This Mexican kid, David Picasso, is going to get lit the fuck up like a Christmas tree. He has no chance against Naoya Inoue. And I'm telling you, no chance, because Roman Cardenas was the better option. He was better. He's just tougher. This kid, David Alpicott, might be a better puncher, like in style, he puts his punches a little bit better than I don't think he's tougher than Roman Cardenas. Nah, I don't think he is. I don't think he's tougher. I don't think he's ever been in a ring with a fighter like Naoya Inoue. No. Naoya's gonna torture this kid. Yeah, he is. Trust what I'm telling you, bro. He just went the distance with MJ, right? And the reason why he did that is because his father asked him to. His father said, you have been so enamored with the knockout and your little knockout streak that you're going in for the knockout and you got dropped twice because you're not listening to me, Naoya Inoue. So you know what I want you to do this fight? I know you can knock out MJ. I don't want you to knock him out. I want you to prove to us you can follow a game plan, still being the type of champion you are. Are you going to let your ego, Naoya Inoue, because of the fact of you know who you are, what kind of champion, or are you going to still show that you still can learn in the sport? And even a champion like you can take advice. Naoya Inoue showed his team, his father, and himself, and his country that he can bring it back, take care of business, and still be dominant. They're going to let the leash off the hook. He did what he was asked of. He did the fight where he was sacrificed his knockout streak against MJ. Who's the person they letting the leash off? David. He's about to get fucked. Man, listen. They're going to go, Naoya. He's going to knock him out, bro. Why? I guarantee it, bro. I guarantee it. He's going to knock him out. I feel bad for that. He shouldn't have fought him he should have fought him in Las Vegas. It would have been a better opportunity because Naoya Inoue was still running in there. So Alan David Picasso had a different mindset, Naoya Inoue, in Vegas. He had a better chance. Not this. They done, his father, Shingo, done snapped the whip. Naoya Inoue was like, get back into like winning form. Man, they gonna let the leash off, bro. They gonna let him because Naoya Inoue did what he was told, what he was asked. Go the distance with MJ. He did it. He's gonna hurt this dude, bro. It's over. Just tell your boy to be undefeated for Bang Bang. Bang Bang Rodriguez does not want any part with Naoya Inoue, and he shouldn't. He should leave that man alone. Everything that Bam Bam Rodriguez is, Naoya is too. Yeah. The problem is I wouldn't accept the fight. I wouldn't accept the fight because he's gonna end up beating Bam Bam, and I'm gonna turn around and say Bam Bam was too small for Naoya Inoue. He's 2 divisions down. He's at 115. I don't want that fight because Bang got to jump up 2 weight divisions. I don't think it would be fair for Bang. Now, if Naoya Inoue was to go down 1 weight division and he was to meet Bang right there, I would accept that. So if Bang beat him or lost, I could sleep good at night with that. But you're not gonna take Bam out there and put him in with fucking Naoya Inoue and get Bam fucked up because and then I'm not gonna like it. I'm gonna get on. I'm gonna scream to high heaven. I'm gonna be like, that's not right because you guys didn't get somebody in Bam's weight division to beat him. Get the fucking Chocolatito. Get those dudes. Get all those dudes that thought Bam's he beat them all. He's gonna beat them. Beat Bam Bam Rodriguez fair and square. That's all I ask. Fair and square. Shit, I don't think Bam gets past Junto Nakatoni. And now Junto Nakatoni is 1 division down from Naoya Inoue. You know what I mean? I like Bam Rodriguez. I think he's an amazing fucking fighter. But unfortunately, don't beef him up to beat him. I wish they were in the same weight division because then it would be an even fight and I would accept it. It would be the same thing as Terrence Crawford going up to fight Saul Canelo Alvarez in that kind of jump. But Canelo is old in boxing years for Terrence. Naoya Inoue is still in his prime. He's still dangerous, prime puncher. It seemed like Saul Canelo Alvarez's punch hasn't been there for quite some time. Naoya Inoue's punch is right there. He's too dangerous. It's not the same jump in those weight divisions than it is up there. And I think Bam Bam Rodriguez, fucking great fighter, bro. I think he's just the Naoya Inoue, but the Mexican version of Naoya Inoue, Bam Rodriguez. He's just the Mexican version of there, and he's the Japanese version of him. You know, they're slick fighters, real slick, strong, crafty. Bam Rodriguez makes reads, man. He's fucking technical. But I love Bam Rodriguez, and I'm not gonna welcome that fight. Uh-uh. Uh-uh. I don't think it's gonna be on even playing field. I just don't. But if there was a way we could get that fight, I would welcome it. I would welcome it because that would be an awesome fucking fight. But no, I guess it would be no more than me sacrificing Naoya Inoue against Tank Davis. Why is it that I would want the Tank Davis fight against Naoya Inoue? I actually think Naoya Inoue can beat Tank Davis. Yeah. I like, and since Tank Davis hasn't really fought that kind of fight, I'm willing to sacrifice him. I'm like, yeah, fuck it. Fight him. But Bam Rodriguez, he's young, he has a bright future. He's just a different place in his career, and I understand that. Tank's at the end. I think, yeah, let him fight. Naoya Inoue's in his 30s, and Tank is 30. Yeah, let them fight. Bam Rodriguez, nah, bro. He's got a legacy to make. I don't want to sacrifice him. Mm-mm. I'll keep him right where he is. Let him do him. Let Bam Rodriguez become Bam Rodriguez, damn it. Fuck that. I don't think he beats Naoya Inoue, though. Mm-mm. I don't nah. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. They're great. They're both great, man. Fucking badass motherfuckers, bro. I just think Naoya Inoue's been against bigger guys. The Louis Naris of the world, the fucking the Stephen Kubo Fultons of the world. Naoya Inoue has fought respectfully so, like some pretty fucking like decent champions, man. You know, what's his name? The Hall of Famer there. Um Nonito Donaire. Uh, Nonito Donaire is basically a version of Bam Bam Rodriguez and Rivera, that Puerto Rican fighter. He was good and crafty too. Yeah, they were some great fighters, man. They always beat a lot of the top guys, man, and he's knocked them out. That's the problem. When you're knocking out Donaire like that in 2 rounds, actually, he knocked Donaire out in 1 round. Had there been 10 seconds in that round left in the first round, he knocks Donaire out. Donaire doesn't make it out that first round in the Donaire fight too. When you can do that to Hall of Fame fighters, 3 division fighters like that, yo, don't Nail. He's not to be played with. He is not to be played with. Bam would have a lot of problems against that dude. I just don't want to see it because I don't want to sacrifice Bam. I like Bam. I like Bam a lot. I don't want him in that fight. I don't want him. Now, Junto is sacrifice Junto. Yeah, let's go. I want to see Junto against Naoya Inoue. Japan against Japan. Let them take each other out. Right? I'm all for it. Yep. I want the fight, you know? And Junto's big. Junto's big, so he'll make the weight jump comfortably. See, Bam Bam, he's not, he doesn't have that frame like, you know. But Junto, sacrifice, let's go. Let's go. You know what I mean? Tell that to Nagatani. That's exactly. Hey, listen. I don't know, man. Nakatani's a big fucking boy, bro. And Nakatani, I don't know if Bam gets by him. I really don't know. I can't say that. I can't say Bam Rodriguez just beats Junto Nakatani. No. You seen how Nagatani's been knocking dudes out? You know who Junto Nakatani is? Bro, he got like the knockout of the year against the Maloney dude. Fucking Andrew Maloney. He knocked that dude's soul out of his body. His spirit jumped out of the ring and ran up the stairs. Yo, it was just a lifeless corpse in the ring. Like, man, listen, Bam don't want to get hit with shots like that from these boys. These boys are bigger, man. They hit that much harder. I'm not sure Bam can get just. I'm just. Yeah, he's Bam Rodriguez. I'm just gonna award him the victory. No, I would have to see that shit. I would have to see that. And then at the same token, when I think about Junto fighting Naoya Inoue, I'm cool with that shit. I'm 100% cool with that. Come on, Junto. Come up here with that shit. You think you're better or you're the best Japanese fighter if you want to. Let them gas your head up if you want to. Go ahead, Junto. Do what you want. Step in the ring with Naoya Inoue. He's going to teach you like he taught all the rest of them. Naoya Inoue didn't fight his way out of Japan for nothing. He made himself the #1 Japanese fighter. And at the time, Ryo was the #1. He was like the Junto. You saw what he did to him. That was 10 rounds of good action, though, wasn't it? That shit went the distance, right? That was one of the only Naoya Inoue fights that did go the distance. You know, that Ryo Japanese dude was fucking tough. And that I think that'll be kind of like the Junto fight for him. But he's still gonna win. He's still. I got Naoya Inoue in that fight against Junto. And I got Naoya Inoue. Hell yeah. I'm not betting against that dude. That dude's a monster for a reason. He's a real monster. All right, you'll see if you don't know about him. Watch his fights. Listen, they're not beating him. They're not beating him. And Stephen Kubo Fulton knew what was going to happen. He knew Naoya Inoue is coming up there. That's why I watched that Espinoza fight. I want to see if Espinoza is going to stay in the division. I want to see if Espinoza can still make the weight, if he's still performing right. You know what I'm saying? Arno, a guy, I called the fight before the fight started. I said it. If you go back and watch my live breakdown, I before the fight even started, I said, what we're about to watch, is this just another tough fighter that's going to get his ass whooped. Just another tough guy that is too short, doesn't have the attributes that Espinoza, and Espinoza is going to pick him apart. That is exactly what we saw. Exactly what we saw. Espinoza's fighting like a champion, bro. He's going to be tough to beat. And I think if anybody, I don't think the other champions in the division want to fight him. I really don't. And I think that the only person that's going to fight him is Naoya Inoue. Nick Ball is not going to fight Espinoza. It's too short. Way too short. If you think these guys are short for Espinoza, Nick Ball would even be that much shorter. He's like 5'3". He's too small. Espinoza 6'1". That's crazy. So Stephen Kubo Fulton's moving up. He's gonna fight O'Shaughnessy Foster, shit like that. I don't. All I see is Espinoza moving up to 130. I'm not sure if he's gonna be there for that much longer. Since Naoya Inoue has already announced his fight in December, what Naoya Inoue's his plans, and you don't want to know something about Naoya Inoue, he's a man of his word. Whenever he announces something, 10 out of 10 times he does exactly that. You know, it's not his fault that Sam Goodman cut his eye not once but twice and got out of the fight. You know, it's not his fault that MJ takes step aside money. That's not his fault. You know, these guys are just buying their time with Naoya Inoue to see if he would move out the division so that they would get a shot at the belt because he holds all the belts. That's how dominant of a champion he is. See? So his plan was to fight David Allen Picasso, then to fight Junto Nakatoni next. Junto was supposed to be making the transition on the move up. Then Naoya was supposed to fight him in an epic showdown fight. And I believe that would be in the Tokyo Arena. Those were the plans. Now, whether or not Naoya Inoue's dancing partner shows up, which Junto Nakatoni, yes, I just said that. Yes, I did. I'm trying to tell you guys that not every fighter is willing to sign up to fight Naoya Inoue, and it is for a reason. Junto would be sacrificing a lot, moving up to a division. I'm not sure if him and his coach, you know, wanna go along with this. It might not be a good career move for your guy. If you just allow Naoya Inoue to move up, you don't have to face him, and your fighter can remain undefeated and continue to win belts. But when you're trying to fight a fighter like that, you are really, and especially when you're going into the fight, that it's not a 50-50 fight in my eyes. That's not a 50-50 fight between Junto and Naoya Inoue. It would be more like a 60-40. Naoya Inoue, 60, Junto 40. He doesn't give me the 50-50 vibe again. No, he doesn't deserve that. Who the fuck did Junto beat that tells you, oh yeah, he's going to beat Naoya Inoue? No one. That's who. No one. Whatever Junto did, Naoya Inoue did it better. What makes me think that that's a 50-50 fight? Just because Junto's knocking out people, I got to award him 50%? Fuck out of here. I know what I'm watching. I'm watching boxing, and I know what I'm studying. Junto does not deserve 50-50 with Naoya Inoue. There's no way. No. And I think that there's no fighter right now that's really in Naoya Inoue's division that deserves a 50-50. No. The only fighter would be for him moving up to 126 that would deserve a 50-50. It's that fucking Espinoza dude. That's it. And I give Espinoza 50-50 for multiple reasons. I give him 50-50. Not only because of his height, his reach, not because of that. Flacco can fucking punch, bro. That dude can crack Espinoza. You see what these people's faces were looking like in the third round against him. Look what he's been doing. He can punch. He's a threat. He's a tall, skinny guy that can throw a hell of a volume of punches through rounds. He can sustain that round by round, that huge output of punches. He has a great gas tank, and he can mix it up and get it down and dirty. Now that right there, he brings attributes to the fight. Junto brings nothing to the fight Naoya Inoue has never seen before. He's not the tallest fighter he ever fought. He's not the fastest. He might be one of the strongest punchers, yeah, but we don't know that to be true because Naoya Inoue never allowed them dudes to open up in the punches because I think Luis Pantera Nari is a decent fucking power puncher. A real threat in power punching. He's fought against these guys, man. Naoya Inoue. And all these guys have come up with different attributes, different traits, bro. And he's made it look so easy, that when it's all said and done, Naoya Inoue is probably going to go down in boxing history as the greatest round fighter boxing has ever seen or produced. What I mean by round fighter, round by round basis, Naoya Inoue has won 94, 96% of all his rounds in all his fights. That means Naoya Inoue statistically lost like one round every 5 fights. Some shit like that. One round. Like statistically. Like if you was to go through his entire career, name me a fight he ever had to come back in. He was never down in the fight, like on the scorecards. It's not, oh, we're coming into the 6th round right now. The fight is tied 3-3, or Naoya Inoue is losing 4-2 right now in the 6th round. That's never happened. Never. He's probably going to go down as the best round fighter in boxing history. What's he lost? 9 rounds in his fucking career? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You think of fighters like Shakur Stevenson, the fewest hit fighters. That's not really that impressive. Why don't you win all your rounds and all your fights throughout your entire career? And you have 2 divisions where you won all 4 belts. You fought that many champions, and those champions couldn't even win rounds against you. For instance, Stephen Kubo Fulton was a unified world champion that didn't win 1 round against Naoya Inoue. MJ didn't win a round. Marlon Tapales arguably might have won the 7th round, but I doubt it. He didn't win 1 round against Naoya Inoue neither. Not 1 round. Fuck out of here, bro. You talking about Junto just walking up and doing what? Doing what to who? To where? To this guy? Yeah, I would like to see that. I would love to see that. I like Junto. Yeah, that is my opinion. You can like Junto. You know what? And there's nothing wrong with that. There are a lot of people that got Junto in the fight. Respectfully, I could see why. I could see why. It's like Junto's the hot next thing. He's the shiny new car. Whenever you don't see Naoya Inoue, you see Junto. And quickly, he attracts you. He's fucking nasty, ain't he? He's nasty. Junto's nasty, ain't he? Good, fast, lengthy. Flacco can crack. right? Junto, another of them skinny dudes that can bang, got real punching power. Um, he's just not faster than Naoya Inoue. His twitch like muscle is not faster than Naoya's twitch like. And his footwork is not better than Naoya Inoue. His placement. Naoya Inoue is in the exact best place to throw the next best punch. He's always in position. Junto doesn't have it like that. Junto hits, works off rhythm, and what's what he's working with what you're giving him. Junto works behind the jab, right? Where Naoya Inoue is more calculated. He's way more calculated. He's more technical. He's a better efficient boxer and slightly better power than Junto. It's hard to tell because Junto's laying dudes out too, but you can tell that Naoya Inoue's power is a lot more when you study it. Go back and watch Naoya Inoue knocking out Luis Pantera Nari, and the way he went no torque from here to here, he went and he damn near decapitated that man. Junto can't do that. Junto rocked down like this and came up with a flurry Halenges shot that went around the world in order to get that kind of reaction. Where Naoya Inoue is right here, he's like, and getting that kind of reaction. When he hit Yi Young Kim, Naoya Inoue, when he popped him up upside of the head, Yi Young Kim was walking by like this. How did Naoya Inoue knock that man out? He stood right in front of him like this and went. He hits way harder than Junto. Way harder. When he hit Stephen Kubo Fulton, Naoya Inoue, that he wanted, when he hit him and then Stephen tried to get up, that he was going to punch his head off, go back and watch that fight. Watch how Naoya Inoue let off the punch. He could have knocked that man right out of the ring. But when he hit him and he took away from the punch. If he wanted to hurt Stephen Kubo Fulton and you want to hit somebody, when you punch somebody, your punch should be going in that direction. When you finish hitting them, your punch needs to go in that direction. If you hit somebody and your hand goes backwards, you would have to make that movement yourself. You would have to hit them and back off of it. You're going to see the punching power that Naoya Inoue has. It's way stronger than Junto's punching power. Yes, it is. So he has him in the speed department, the footwork, the twitch-like muscle, and the power. What makes me think Junto's going to beat him? Junto's going to have to catch Naoya Inoue. He's going to have to catch him. And that's it. He's got a puncher's chance. Fuck yeah, he does. Can Junto fight? Hell yeah, he can. Could he upset Naoya Inoue? You're damn right he could. You're damn right he could. Is he the only guy I think down there that can do it? Yup. Junto. If anybody can do it, it's Junto. But that's a tough assignment. I gotta admit, that's gonna be a tough assignment to beat Naoya Inoue. Yeah, it's gonna be a tough one. Can he do it? I mean, at that level with those two type of guys, there's a possibility Junto can fucking beat Naoya Inoue. There's a possibility. Am I fearful for the fight? Yeah, because I already know that Naoya Inoue he's been battle tested like that. Everything that Junto brings, Naoya has already seen. You got to remember that even having a fractured orbital bone in the second round, fractured orbital bone, Naoya Inoue went 10 rounds with a fractured orbital bone and got his nose broken in the fight. And not one moment in that fight did he look for a way out. So battle tested, you can smash his face to pieces. That Terminator is not stopping. So don't sit here and try to tell me that Junto can beat up Naoya Inoue and make him fold. or scared or hesitant. If a fractured orbital bone and a broken nose is not stopping that man, Junto, you're in for a long night. His man is tough. He's got a beard. And if I had to be honest, Naoya, in a way, he's proven himself. Until Junto can do some shit like that, I got Naoya in a way in the fight. I like Naoya in a way. But I can see where people love Junto. And you wouldn't be wrong. You would not be wrong. You wouldn't be wrong. And I can't hate on that. That's a fucking good pick. Junto versus I could see that. I could see that. But I've been following Naoya Inoue for so long, and I'm under the version if you're gonna beat the king or be called the king, well, then you need to dethrone the king first. You're not gonna get that stamp of approval from me because I think. No, no. Come on, guys. You know where are we from? We're from the show me state. You're gonna have to show me. You know where we're from. We're from the show me state around here. You can't just come up here talking slick, thinking, oh yeah, I'm gonna give it. No. No. You're gonna have to show me that shit. So Naoya Inoue is a top Japanese fighter. Until you beat him, he's the top Japanese fighter. Saul Canelo Alvarez is a top Mexican fighter. Until you beat him, until Terrence Crawford just did exactly that, he's still the top Mexican fighter. And as far as that shit about the face of boxing, let's just remember, okay? Respectfully so, Terrence Crawford should be the face of boxing because he beat the man. But in today's era with social media, it doesn't fall like that. If you are not selling more than me, then homeboy, you're not the face of boxing because the face of boxing does not require for you to have all the belts. It never said for in order for you to be the face of boxing, you have to be the greatest champion. That's not what comes with the face of boxing. The face of boxing brings the viewers and the person that sells the most. That's the face of boxing. Where a Jake Paul, a Tank Davis, a Ryan Garcia, they can be the face of boxing. A Saul Canelo Alvarez. And I think that the people are getting it, some people anyway, are getting it confused. That they believe that it's by honor and achievements and accomplishments should be the face of boxing. And that is not so. We're not talking about the most accomplished boxer. If you said that, well, then that would be Terrence Crawford. Right? But you said the face of boxing. That is not Terrence Crawford. He is not the face of boxing. Unfortunately. That's a different title. The face of boxing is the most popular boxer. That's what the face of boxing is. So, gentlemen, listen. Inoue loses that fight by TKO. Hot damn, let me tell you what. Who the hell is this guy? I got to remember this. I'm not sure about that. Yo, man, listen. Hey, listen. I'm on a boxing show. I can say this or that. Uh, you can still stay to your opinion. I'm not a used car salesman here. I'm not trying to change your mind. I'm not trying to tell you, no, oh yeah, let me pick. No, stay with Junto. That's your guy. Well, then you should be a loyal fan and stay with your guy. It shouldn't be what I say. I'm picking Naoya Inoue in the fight. I got Naoya. I said to you, you have a good pick. You all do. You have a great pick. I'm just on the line where uh Naoya's too. He's that good, man. He's really that good, man. He really is. And I just don't think Junto really like. I don't even think he's there yet. Tell you the truth, I think it would be an interesting fight. I think Junto will give everything he got. I just don't think that Junto's ever been in a ring with anybody like Naoya Inoue. Not even close. I think Naoya Inoue has been in the ring with a far more better competition. He's dealt with them, dispersed them, way faster, way better fashion. Junto has moved up throughout the division in his career really fast, though. I think he has 3 divisions and 3 belts in 3 divisions already. So Junto's really he's that guy when it comes to as the next new thing coming up. I think that Junto will be Naoya Inoue's kid brother got a tough fight right now coming up. He's got a tough fight. I don't think Naoya Inoue's kid brother is going to win this next fight neither against that other Japanese dude, the one that Floyd Mayweather fought. I don't think that he's going to get out of the match with this dude. I really don't. I think, in fact, that kid right there, a few more years of him fucking around the way he's going, he might be ready for a Naoya Inoue fight. That kid is looking really good. He's that Japanese fighter is looking real good. The one that kid, that kickboxer kid that fought Floyd. He's like the way he's moving, the as fast as he's learning. um, he's actually looking like a real boxer, like the real deal. And he also beat one of the Maloney brothers. He didn't knock him out like Junto, but he destroyed him. And that kid was I don't know how to say his name. I know his name. I can see it in my head. I just can't pronounce it right now. Them Japanese names get me sometimes a little it's a little difficult for me, I guess, because I haven't really like always said their names and shit. But that kid, I got my eye on him. He's a fucking threat. There are a lot of good Japanese fighters, man. They're starting to them little dudes are something else, man. They really are. They're fucking lightning in a bottle. They're cool to watch, man. I love them lower weight divisions because all they got all skill and action. Not a lot of power. Now that Juncho and Nakatoni fighters like that are bringing power to the division, makes it exciting. Yes, you know what I'm saying. But nah, Naoya Inoue is still king. He's still king. Until you beat that man, he is fucking king, bro. That dude is king. Nobody in Japan's gonna do what he did. Well, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. He did it. Let's see if somebody else can do it. But he's doing some cool shit because if you look at Naoya Inoue in the 100 years of boxing, there has never been bantamweight unified world champion. Out of all the divisions, there's always already been unified undisputed world champions, undisputed. There's never been an undisputed bantamweight champion in the history of the bantamweights. Which what does that tell you? That means that they're constantly knocking off each other because it's the next best guy, the next best. There's never been a guy that has shown superiority among all bantamweight contenders, that he was able to get all the belts because he was that good. Naoya Inoue made history. If Junto was that good and these guys were that great, why don't they do it? They're in the same era as Naoya Inoue, in the same exact time with the same competition. If they were so much better than him, why isn't Bam Rodriguez imitating what Naoya Inoue did in those lower weight division with almost the exact same guys. They're in the same era, in the same time. Why isn't Junto doing it? If they're so much better than him, I don't know. I don't know why. Ask yourself that question. If Nonito Donaire was so much better than Naoya, why did he do it? Why did anybody else do it? If the belt, they're all there. They're right there. And then Naoya, in a way, leaves the division, and no one seems to be able to pick off where he left off. Naoya, in a way, won all those belts at 118, one at a time. And he vacated them 30 days after he won them all. 30 days after he won them all, he said, nope, I don't want them. Go ahead. So only 30 days passed since he won his last belt at 118, and he threw him back into the pond. Why hasn't anybody else been able to replicate that? Just do what he did. Go win them one at a time like he just did. And go. Junto can't do it. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. But yet these are the guys that are better than him. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. We gonna find out. we definitely gonna find out because I want to see that fight. And since Naoya, in a way, stepped to Junto at that award ceremony, he took the time right there to call him out on that world stage in Japan. And they were just accepting awards. There wasn't supposed to be no fucking call out. And Junto and Naoya, in a way, took the time while getting his award for like Fighter of the Year or something. That Japan was honoring him. And he said, yeah, hold up. By the way, you, and your name is Junto Nagatomo? Yeah, I want to fight you. In 2026, why don't you and me? Because the everybody in Japan thinks all of a sudden you can whoop my ass. But I'm here to remind Japan who I am, Naoya Inoue. And you cannot whoop my ass, and you are not better than me. So I'm going to take the time and the opportunity right here to let all of Japan and the rest of the boxing world know I will bust your ass. Basically what Naoya Inoue told him. That wasn't no press conference. Japan people don't do shit like that. They don't break tradition on it's they don't try to be disrespectful. It's all about honor. That was not the place and the time for that announcement. Not Naoya Inoue. Naoya Inoue, I'm a stop the festivities to make an announcement. I can do that. I'm gonna bust your ass. He didn't challenge him. And let's just remember that Junto Nakatomi's coach is on record just 1 year ago, last year, on record saying Junto is not ready for Naoya Inoue. His coach. All right? I'm not the one saying this. Let's just remember his Junto Nakatomi's coach tweet that the world saw, including myself, saw his coach when they asked him the question in the interview. I believe it was Fight Hub or Fight Hype. One of them. It was one of them. Asked his coach, Junto's coach, do they want the Naoya? And he goes, he's not ready for Naoya. And this was last year. All right? So when you're saying, oh, Edwin, you're being biased. Oh, really? Me? Your fucking coach said you're not ready for him. So we'll see. We'll see. We will see. Fucking Naoya Inoue, bro. That dude is something else, man. He's going, man, listen. It's unfortunate though, right? For like his brother and shit. I would love to be his brother and hate to be his brother at the same exact time. Because everybody thinks that you should be able to do what your brother's doing. And if it was a trick that Naoya Inoue was doing to knock people out like that, don't you think he would have taught his little brother how to do the same trick? right? Right? Don't you think? And it's fucking a shame where in the same time, both brothers, Naoya Inoue and his little brother Tacoma, right? The big brother is on record for being one of the hardest punchers bantamweight history has ever seen, right? And the little brother is on record for being one of the softest punchers the bantamweight champions have ever seen. He's got like the fewest knockouts. He's got like 5 knockouts. He's pillow fisted like a motherfucker. So on one end of the spectrum, you got one son that's pillow fisted with a lot of skills, and you got the other son with a lot of skill, is a fucking knockout artist. And you grow up with this, and like, you guys got your own separate friends. You got the friends, the older brother hangs around with the older brother, you got the little brother with the little brother friends, and they're like, yo, knock this dude out like your brother, and you can't do it. You got to grow up your whole life like, yo, go get your big brother. Damn. I know what that's like. I grew up around my brother. Trust me, I know exactly what that's like. My brother is a knockout king in my neighborhood when we were growing up. He's a knockout king. Everybody thought I could knock out people like him. I was like, damn, I can fight great. I got my share of knockouts. I got a great punch. I break jaws and cheekbones and shit like that. I hit like that, but yeah, he was just laying dudes out. It was like he had a button. Out, out. It's crazy. I know what that feeling's like. But Naoya Inoue and his kid, they're on a world stage. We were just neighborhood kids. They're on a world stage, and the entire world knows you're not hitting like your brother, your older brother. It's fucking, that's gotta suck, but at the same time, be proud and happy that he is your brother. Fuck it. Yup, he's my brother. Naoya, that's my brother. So, I mean, there's pros and cons to it, to all of it. But I don't know about that Naoya kid brother fight, bro. I think he's in trouble. This fucking kid, this kickboxer kid, he's fucking, yo, even his sparring footage. I was watching some of his sparring footage, the Japanese kid that fought Mayweather. Yo, he's something else, man. That he just looks like he punches hard, right? And real measured and calculated. Uh he's pretty decent. He's pretty decent. I gotta admit, he's pretty decent. So I want to see him come up. Absolutely. What's up, guys? Uh I don't know if well, Naoya Inoue has what? Let's think about this guy. What does he have? 3 more years of boxing? He wants to retire at 35, right? But he's got 3 more years of boxing. If these guys can wait him out, they don't got to fight him, the other Japanese dudes. And they could set their own pace and try to get another country to take him out rather than getting Japan to take out Japan. Sometimes you don't want to sacrifice your champion against your guy, but usually sometimes when you do that, it's when you guys are just the best. When you see America take out America, you saw Terrence Crawford fight Errol Spence Jr. in one of the biggest fights. It's because Terrence and Errol cleaned out the division. There was nobody else left standing but 2 American fighters. It's a good time to fight each other. But when you take each other out in the lower, you know, sometimes you got to be strategic. I don't think Japan should put Japan to take out Japan. Learn from what happened to American fighters and how we attacked each other. You see? So if you can have 2 legendary careers out of your Japan fighters and don't allow them to knock off each other, don't get a ninja to kill a ninja type shit, because that's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to get a ninja to beat Naoya Inoue because he's a fucking ninja. You know what I mean? So, but you let Naoya Inoue knock off everybody else. Don't fight him, Junto. Let him move up to 126. Let them, the 126, be his problem. Dominate at 122. As soon as Naoya Inoue does what he have to do at 126, he's out of the game. Now you are the best Japanese fighter in the world. And now you can go up the ladder right behind your brother, Naoya Inoue, and clean house. Perhaps stay undefeated as well. That would be a second undefeated Japanese accomplished fighter. Then here comes that other kid from Japan rolling up. What you do in the beginning when you put Japan against Japan is in the beginning of their career, when they're fighting their way out of Japan to figure out who's the best Japanese fighter. You guys do know that Japan did not believe in Naoya Inoue to represent them in the Olympics. He didn't make the Olympic team, Naoya Inoue. That's what I'm saying. You never know who these guys are going to be. I bet you Japan wishes they didn't fuck that up, right? Right? And would have known that Naoya Inoue was going to be that kind of fighter. You would want him in the Japan Olympics, man. Who made that decision? Fucking bonehead. It's like kicking out Michael Jordan. You idiot. It's like that coach that told Michael Jordan, you'll never be a basketball player, son. You might as well play baseball. Yeah, look who at that guy. Yeah, you were so wrong, right? You know, so same thing with Naoya Inoue and shit. Like, uh, you know, sometimes you just don't want to, put Mexico against Mexico, or you know, Philippine against Philippine and shit like that. Try to get somebody else to take you out. You know, it's better that way. I would rather see a Mexican dude knock out the Japan dudes, or an American dude, or fucking Russian, or something else, because then it shows that. But and then when you got your own countrymen, they got your own guy taking out your own guy. It's pretty much because you guys were the best. There was just nobody else. You guys cleaned house, and that's what it's looking like. That Junto's gonna have to be the guy that comes out and fights Naoya because there's just nobody else, type shit. Unless he moves up to 126, but he's not there yet. So, but as right now, there's nobody else to beat Naoya anyway. Nobody, not in where he's at. No, he already cleaned out the division. There's nobody there for him. So anyway, fight fans, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for sitting back talking boxing. We have a lot to talk about. A lot of great discussions and shit. And I just want you to know that everybody that came up here with your opinion, you guys are all right. There are no wrong opinions. There are no, what you guys believe is what you believe. I like the fact that you guys got Junto in the fight. I respect that 100%. I got Naoya in a way. I hope you can respect that. You know what I mean? And maybe the best fighter win if the fight is to take place. But like all these fights that have kicked off these past weekend, a lot of entertainment, good fights, and some fights I watch to see the future of that fighter. So now I'm getting back into boxing, getting back into watching, slowed up on that training shit. The ankle looks a lot better today because I did stay off of it rather than doing cardio outside the last 2 days. I really stayed off the foot. It's starting to look a little bit better. It's been a week since my fight. Yeah. So I always love coming up talking boxing. Salute to everybody that came into the chat. Salute to everybody that wrote a text. Everybody, thank you. And I will see you on the next one after this one here at Round One Sports Talk. You guys have been amazing. Have a blessed day. I'm out. Peace. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, or become a Round One Sports Talk member. Merch will be coming soon.